As we move on from the anatomy of the spinal cord, we will now focus on the pathways that enable two-way communication between the brain and other parts of the body. These pathways are called spinal cord pathways and are divided into sensory pathways and motor pathways. You may have also heard the names ascending and descending tracts. We will begin with the ascending tracts. These are our sensory tracts, starting with the dorsal column medial meniscus. Here we have the fasciculus gracilis, which lies medially to the fasciculus cuneatus. Both tracts are responsible for fine touch, vibration, and proprioception. The main difference between these two are that signals from the lower limb below T6 travels in the fasciculus gracilis, and those in the upper limb, T6 and above, travels in the fasciculus cuneate. These tracts run ipsilaterally in the spinal cord. Remember that ipsilaterally means on the same side of the body. For example, fine touch sensation in the left hand would travel from the periphery into the dorsal root ganglion through the fasciculus cuneatus on the left, and the same sensation, if occurring in the foot, would travel through the fasciculus gracilis. These tracts ascend the spinal cord and up the medulla where they meet their respective nuclei, the gracilis and the cuneatus, and then end by synapsing on the bodies in the medulla where they decussate, meaning the nerve fibers cross over to the opposite side of the body at this point. This decussation occurs in the medial meniscus, which then ascends and synapses to the VPL, which stands for the ventral posterolateral. This part is the nucleus of the thalamus on the contralateral, or what's called the opposite side of our initial sensory input. The tract then continues its ascent, then finally synapses in the primary somatosensory cortex. So now, how do we know which neurons are first, second, and third order neurons? Our first order neurons are those located in the periphery and has its cell body in the dorsal root ganglion of the spinal cord, and synapses at the second order neuron, which may be located in the spinal cord or brainstem, and is generally our site of decussation. Lastly, our second order neuron synapses in the thalamus and then ascends to meet the third order neuron in the somatosensory cortex.